back to another episode of Strong in the Saddle. For today's episode, I thought we would do a bit of a Q&A because I haven't done a Q&A in a while. I put up a question box on my Instagram and just asked for some questions that you guys would like answered on the podcast, so I'm going to answer those today. First question was English or Western. I feel like the answer to this is extremely obvious. Western. I have actually never even sat in an English saddle before. I would like to. I feel like Junior definitely, was not suited to English. He's very much a ranchy kind of horse. Diesel, on the other hand, is a bit more finely built, and I think English would look good on Diesel. But up until this point, I have never ridden English, and to be honest, I do not have any ambition at all to dive into that world. I am very, very happy in the Western world. The next question was, what bit do I use on my horse? So with Diesel, I kind of flip-flop between a couple different bits. I am definitely a snaffle girly. I love just a D-ring, O-ring type of snaffle. If I had to have one bit, that's the bit I'm going with, I think. The other bit that I do use on Diesel to get a bit more roundness and start working on more advanced maneuvers is a correction bit. I actually really, really like the correction bit in Diesel. And then with Junior, for years, I've used just like a Junior Cowhorse bit. So it's got just like a snaffle mouthpiece, just one joint in the middle, smooth mouthpiece, and then it's got a bit of a shank going on. I don't know what it is that I like about that bit. I just like how Junior feels when I have that bit on him. So those are the bits that I use. I will be honest, I'm not super well versed when it comes to bits. The only reason I have a correction bit in my barn is because someone who knows more about bits than me suggested that Diesel would do really well with it. I tried it out before I purchased the bit because good quality bits are expensive. And yeah, turns out I love it in him, so that's kind of what we're going with. And just depending on what we're working on and how he's been feeling will determine which bit I will be using at any particular time. The next question is, what was my worst fall from a horse? So I have fallen, as one does, a few times in my lifetime. The worst one, I will say, I've never gotten seriously injured, knock on wood. The worst one I would say was, how old would I have been? Maybe 13, maybe 12. I was in search for my second horse. So my first horse was Brandy, and I had just kind of grown out of her. I needed something that was a little bit more younger and a bit more well-trained just to continue with my education. Brandy was a great walk trot horse, but to get learning things about loping and just, advancing my riding skills, I needed something, a bit of a step up. So we were looking for a horse and we went and tried out a horse and we were riding around. I was on the potential horse we were gonna buy and the owner was on a different horse in the arena. And something happened. We were in an indoor arena. I don't know trying to think if it was in winter and just some snow fell off the arena, or something banged in the arena, and I'm pretty sure her horse spooked first, which caused my horse to spook, and they both took off. We were at one end of the arena. They took off towards the other end of the arena. I have never been on a horse that fast in my life up to that point. And I ended up doing a somersault off to the right shoulder of the horse, and was fine, just a little bit shaken up. I'm trying to think if they had me get back on the horse, and I feel like they didn't, which is kind of a red flag. But after that, my confidence was very, very much shaken. I definitely went downhill from that, and so although there was no physical ramifications, there was definitely mental, psychological things that happened. And yeah, it was a big struggle after that to gain confidence to be on any horse other than Brandy. So that was very, very pivotal actually in my horsey career, I would say. Next question was, who is my horse person inspiration? This might throw you guys off because I'm a Western girl, right? I like the reining side of things. I like Cowhorse, but the first person that came to mind was actually Amelia Newcomb, who is a dressage person. So if you guys have not, be sure to follow Amelia on YouTube. She is phenomenal. I have learned so much from her as someone who rides Western. Just the way she breaks things down, the way she explains things, she's phenomenal, and just a very positive person and all of that. If I was to say who's my Western inspiration, I would probably say Sarah Dawson. Sarah Dawson is an incredible rider. She does the Cowhorse thing, but she's also in the 3-day eventing, and I think she's very, very invested in improving herself as a rider, which I definitely respect. And the fact that she's brave enough to go down the fence, I'm so jealous of. You guys, I should put this out there. I want to do Reined Cowhorse, but I know that running down the fence would terrify me. So we'll just put that out there. I would like to do Reined Cowhorse, and I'm going to say Sarah Dawson is definitely my inspiration for that. Another question I got was whether or not I have ever taught lessons, and the answer is actually yes. The year I was graduating high school, so I was 17, and for a summer I did give lessons to a young sister-brother duo, more the sister than the brother. He kind of wasn't as interested, but I did give lessons to a young girl for a while. It was fun. It was fun. I took her to a jackpot one day, and I really enjoyed it. Would I give lessons in the future? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe in like a 4-H setting I would. But it's definitely been a very long time since I've given lessons, and I did enjoy it. I was glad to be giving back, and just seeing the excitement and the happiness on that little girl's face when I was helping her with her pony. Her pony's name was, the pony's name was Shasta, but everyone called it Crowbait. So I always think the horse's name is Crowbait. But yeah, it was fun to just bring some of that horsey joy into that little girl's life, because I know if I was her age, how much that would have just made my life if a young girl would have taken the time to give me lessons like that. So I got a question on what my favorite kind of reins are. So as a barrel racer for years and years and years, I rode with just a roping rein, so it's just a single rein, and I would have like tape on them for where I needed to hold the rein going around each barrel. They even had like knots. I tied my leather reins in knots because they weren't the right length. Like the reins I used to ride in are terrible. Now I am a rein snob, I would say. I like heavy duty, well-oiled, harness leather, split reins. Like I want to feel these reins in my hands. I want them to feel like butter and just like feel that horse in my hands with those reins. And I definitely found the perfect set of reins. When I bought that correction bit that I talked about earlier, I bought new reins because I didn't have extra reins to set up a whole new bridle. And I invested in some really nice harness leather reins by Weaver, and they're dark, really well oiled, and I just love those things so much. I will say it did take a bit of time. When you go from roping reins to split reins, it does take a bit because you have a lot more going on. So it has taken some time, and I feel like I'm still trying to nail that down. I'm pretty bad for getting too much rein, and like rein management is always a continuing skill that I'm developing. But yeah, those are the reins. Just like a heavy set of harness leather reins that are just feel like butter. Another question I got was, do I prefer to ride indoors or outdoors? I prefer to ride outdoors. I actually hate riding inside. I feel like the air quality is always crap. You often get too sweaty, and it's just dark. I don't know. That's my experience with indoor arenas. Here in Canada, I would definitely prefer to ride outside in just a nice, well-groomed outdoor arena. The fact that I live in Canada makes that difficult to do year-round. So, like, yeah, if I wished I had access to an indoor, I would 100% be in there every day, but I don't. But like, if I had to pick, I would prefer to ride outdoors. There's something also just about being like in nature with your horse, feeling the sun, the wind, that I feel like it makes it feel better. I don't, am I making sense? Like just being out in nature with your horse, there's something to that too that just enriches the experience of being on a horse that you definitely do not get in an indoor. So yeah, we'll go with outdoor. And the last question that I'm going to answer is, there was a question about what my favorite thing about my horse is. So with Junior, we've been together so long. I've owned Junior since June of 2006. We know each other front to back, end to end, side to side, like inside and out. We know each other, and I love how at this point Junior knows when he's doing something he's not supposed to be, and if he knows a certain tone of my voice that he's like, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I think it's really cute. I've also really liked about Junior, he's definitely not a personable horse, which at certain times I wish I had a personable horse, but I really like that he's not in your pocket, he's not constantly at you, he gives you your space. And yeah, as weird as that might sound, I think some people really enjoy having a personable horse. I like that he's not personable. As far as Diesel goes, I'm still trying to figure Diesel out. I feel like I've had him for almost 2 years, and obviously I have a lot more to learn about him compared to Junior, because I've owned him significantly less. I like that he's younger. I feel like I've been on Junior, who is a senior horse, for a very long time, and it's such a nice breath of fresh air to be on a younger horse again. So definitely love that. I feel like I will always be a larger horse girl at heart. Like Junior's 16.2, I think, which is very big for a quarter horse. And I've always enjoyed being on a bigger horse, but I'm kind of digging the 14.2 that is Diesel. I don't know, it just feels more like I'm on, I always say Diesel's like driving a Ferrari, whereas Junior was more of like your 1-ton pickup truck. So there's good and bad for both, but it's kind of fun being in that Ferrari now after driving that 1-ton for so long. So that's like I said, I'm still the bond with Diesel and I is still growing. We still have a lot of years, hopefully, to figure each other out and get to know each other. So still figuring that out. And with that, I think I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I am at Strong in the Saddle everywhere. And until next time, remember, it's always a good day to ride.